The movie begins in the jungle. We see a small boy named Mowgli running with wolves. Suddenly, a black panther named Bagheera appears. A long time ago, when Mowgli was very young, Bagheera found him and took him to the wolves. A wolf named Raksha adopted Mowgli as her son and raised him along with her other cubs. The other wolves also accepted Mowgli into their pack. Their leader is a wolf named Akela. Even though Bagheera is a black panther, he stays with the wolves and teaches Mowgli how to live like them. One summer, there is a water shortage in the jungle, so all the animals agree on a rule. They will drink from the remaining water near the river, but no one will attack each other. Animals of all sizes gather at the river, and Mowgli also comes there. Akela, the wolf leader, has told Mowgli not to act like a human. Instead, he must learn the ways of the wolves. While drinking water, the animals look at Mowgli with curiosity because they have never seen a creature like him before. Only a few animals know that he is actually a human. Suddenly, everything goes silent as a dangerous tiger named Shere appears. He smells a human nearby and says, "There is a human among us." Then he spots Mowgli and demands that the wolves hand him over. Akela refuses and says, "Mowgli is part of our pack and we will not give him to you." Shere warns them, "This is a time of drought, but soon the rain will return and the peace between us will break. When that happens, I will take the human boy and no one can stop me." After giving this threat, he leaves. The wolves become worried about Mowgli's safety. Time passes, and finally, it starts to rain. The wolves hold a meeting to decide whether they should keep Mowgli or not. They fear that if Mowgli stays, Shere will attack them. Mowgli does not want to put his pack in danger, so he decides to leave. Bagheera is there and agrees that it would be best for Mowgli to go. Bagheera decides to take Mowgli to the village and leave him there. However, Mowgli's wolf mother, Raksha, does not want him to leave the jungle and his family. But now, Mowgli has no choice. He must go. Mowgli walks with Bagheera, and they reach a dry grassland filled with many buffaloes. Suddenly, Bagheera senses danger nearby. He tells Mowgli, "Run towards the light." Mowgli does not understand what is happening, but just then Shere attacks. Bagheera fights Shere while Mowgli runs. But Shere is very powerful, and Bagheera cannot defeat him. After knocking down Bagheera, Shere starts chasing Mowgli. Just as he is about to catch Mowgli, he crashes into the buffaloes. Mowgli jumps into a ravine and the buffaloes start running wildly because they are scared of Shere Mowgli is below while Shere is above, with the buffaloes running between them. Taking advantage of this, Mowgli grabs onto a buffalo and escapes. Shere loses Mowgli and becomes very angry. He then goes to the wolves and asks where Mowgli is. The wolves tell him that Mowgli has left. Shere gets furious and says, "This is your fault. I warned you to give me the human boy, but you didn't listen." Then Akela, the leader of the wolves, bravely faces Shere They fight, but Shere is too strong. He throws Akela off a cliff, and Akela dies. Now the wolves are scared, and Shere takes control of their land. Meanwhile, Mowgli is still riding a buffalo. When he opens his eyes, he sees that the buffaloes are moving through a rocky path. Suddenly, a landslide starts from above. To save himself, Mowgli jumps into a river. Mowgli now reaches a deep, mysterious jungle. He is very hungry, so he climbs a tree to eat some fruit, but small animals come and steal his fruit, running away. Mowgli chases them and unknowingly loses his way. He is now far from the river and completely lost. While sitting on a tree, Mowgli suddenly sees a giant python named Kaa. Kaa looks into Mowgli's eyes and hypnotizes him. Under hypnosis, Mowgli remembers his past. He sees how, when he was very small, his father fought Shere inside a cave to protect him. In his father's hand, there was a burning torch which he used to attack Shere That attack left a scar on Shere eye. Because of this, the entire jungle fears fire, which all the animals call red flower. When Mowgli's father was killed, Bagheera found him and took him to the wolves. Now in the jungle, a huge python snake named Kaa is trying to trick Mowgli so that she can eat him. Kaa is very hungry. Just as she is about to swallow Mowgli, a big bear named Baloo arrives and attacks Kaa. He rescues Mowgli and takes him away. Mowgli was unconscious, and when he wakes up, he sees Baloo in front of him. Baloo is a funny and carefree bear. He tells Mowgli, "Hey kid, I saved your life. Now you have to do some work for me in return." But Mowgli just wants to go to the human village as soon as possible. He starts leaving, but Baloo stops him and says, "Before you go, help me collect some honey. I really need it." Mowgli agrees to help. Using his clever mind and human tricks, he finds the place where there is a lot of honey. He collects a huge amount of honey for Baloo. Seeing this, Baloo becomes very happy and says, "Why don't you stay with me? We can be best friends, collect lots of honey, and enjoy the whole winter together." But Mowgli refuses and says, "Bagheera told me not to stay here." Baloo laughs and says, "Bagheera is my friend. Don't worry, you will be safe with me. I will protect you." Over time, Mowgli and Baloo become very close friends. Mowgli collects even more honey for Baloo. One night, Baloo takes Mowgli to a place from where he can see the human village. By now, Baloo has convinced Mowgli to stay with him instead of going to the village. The next morning, while Mowgli and Baloo are having fun, Bagheera arrives. He is shocked to see Mowgli still in the jungle. He had thought that Mowgli had already reached the human village. Mowgli is very happy to see Bagheera. He runs to him and hugs him, saying, "We are best friends. We will always be together." Then Mowgli takes Bagheera to a cave where he has stored a huge amount of honey for Baloo. But this makes Bagheera very angry. He tells Mowgli, "We warned you not to use human ways in the jungle. You must learn to live like a wolf." Bagheera then tells Mowgli, "You will go to the human village tomorrow." One night, while Mowgli is sleeping, he hears the sound of elephants. He follows the sound and finds that a baby elephant is stuck in a pit. Mowgli quickly brings a rope and helps the baby elephant climb out. Bagheera and Baloo see this from a distance and feel very proud of Mowgli. Now Bagheera tells Baloo a shocking truth. Shere Khan has killed Akela, the wolf leader, and his next target is Mowgli. Shere Khan is determined to catch and kill Mowgli at any cost. When Baloo hears this, he realizes that he cannot protect Mowgli from Shere Khan, so he makes a painful decision. Baloo goes to Mowgli and lies to him, saying, "You are not my friend. I only used you to collect honey. You should leave now." Hearing this, Mowgli feels heartbroken. He runs away and climbs a tree to sit alone. Suddenly, a group of monkeys appears and grabs Mowgli. They carry him away. Bagheera and Baloo try to chase after them, but the monkeys take Mowgli to a huge ancient palace, which is their home. Inside the palace, the Monkey King, King Louie, appears. He is a giant orangutan and the leader of all the monkeys. When Louie sees Mowgli, he offers him a deal. King Louie says, "You are a human. You know how to make the red flower, the fire. Bring it to me and in return, I will protect you from Shere Khan." Mowgli replies, "I don't know anything about the red flower. I don't know where to find it." Just then, Baloo arrives and distracts King Louie with his talking. Bagheera secretly signals Mowgli to escape. Mowgli and Bagheera start running, but one monkey sees them and soon King Louie also chases after them. A fight breaks out. Bagheera and Baloo fight the monkeys while Mowgli runs. King Louie follows Mowgli and finally catches up with him. He tells Mowgli the painful truth. "Shere Khan has killed Akela because of you. He will kill you too. Join me and I will keep you safe." Mowgli refuses and says, "You are lying. Akela is still alive." King Louie laughs and says, "Your friends didn't tell you the truth, but the whole jungle knows. Akela is dead." Hearing this, Mowgli is completely heartbroken. He decides, "I will return to my wolf pack." Just then, King Louie tries to catch Mowgli, but the entire palace starts to collapse. Mowgli jumps onto a tree to save himself, while King Louie gets buried under the falling debris. After escaping, Mowgli looks at Baloo and Bagheera in anger and says, "You are liars! You lied to me!" Mowgli is upset that no one told him about Akela's death. He decides to return to his wolf pack, but first he goes to the human village. There, he sees fire burning, the same fire that animals call red flower, which they all fear. Mowgli takes a torch with fire and runs back to his pack, but as he runs, sparks from the torch fall on dry leaves, and the jungle catches fire. When Mowgli reaches his pack, Shere Khan is already there. Seeing the fire in Mowgli's hand, Shere Khan mocks him, saying, "Look what you have done. You went to the humans, and now you have become one of them." Mowgli turns around and sees the forest burning behind him. The wolves also look at Mowgli's torch in fear. Realizing this, Mowgli throws the torch into the water and says, "I am not a human. I am a wolf." Now that Mowgli no longer has the torch, Shere Khan growls, "Now no one can save you from me." Shere Khan attacks Mowgli, but all the jungle animals stand up to protect him. Even Baloo fights Shere Khan. Meanwhile, Mowgli runs towards the burning jungle. He quickly ties vines together to make a rope and climbs a dead tree. Shere Khan defeats many animals and then follows Mowgli. Mowgli intentionally climbs onto a weak tree branch, knowing it cannot hold too much weight. When Shere Khan jumps onto the branch, his weight causes it to break, and he falls straight into the fire below. Mowgli hangs onto his rope and saves himself, but Shere Khan is burned in the fire and dies. Mowgli's friends, who were injured by Shere Khan, are worried about him, but soon Mowgli appears riding on an elephant. With the help of the elephants, Mowgli redirects the river's flow towards the burning forest. The water spreads through the jungle, and the fire is completely extinguished. Mowgli has not only ended Shere Khan's terror, but also revenged his father's death. Raksha, Mowgli's wolf mother, is now the new leader of the wolf pack. Mowgli is shown running through the jungle again, just like before. He decides that he will use his human skills and tools only for himself. Baloo also stays with him and the wolves, and they all live happily. And with this, the movie ends. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to give the video a like.